Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen with a summary of the September-October monthly report that goes over what CIG and Foundry 42 have been working on for the last month with Star Citizen. Very much focused on Star Citizen now rather than Squadron 42, and we'll come to that in a second. Now, there have been some changes in the way that they do their monthly reports, so they've structured them like sort of I structure them when I come to compress them down, which is awesome because it makes my life a million times easier and I can just remove parts and compress bits down. So they've merged all the studio's data together and are actually focusing on specific tasks, projects and departments when making each of the individual sections for the monthly report. They've also now said a dedicated Squadron 42 monthly report will be released separately in the very near future. That is great news. And as such, this is almost entirely focused on Star Citizen and tech that is transferable to Squadron 42 as well, obviously. Let's begin anyway. AI, they've worked on multi-threading, making various systems thread safe, giving a big boost towards full multi-threading of Subsumption and general other systems. For the mission system, they introduced new functionalities, the ability to provide restrictions on the availability of a mission based on location, and they've improved the UIs as well. They've currently been working on a first pass to simulate incoming and outgoing city traffic so that large cities feel more alive, getting NPC ships to properly take off and land, and then quantum travel so the universe can be populated with traveling NPCs that aren't necessarily combat orientated. They have made progress on the FPS combat AI with improvements to perception and reaction stimuli. Cover selection was modified to enable enemies and allies to more intelligently choose where and when to seek cover. They now also give increased vocal feedback so players understand more clearly what they're thinking and what's happening during encounters. The next step will be to get the same functionality working in multiplayer. Animation guys there have been refining the first-person experience, tweaking weapon movement and recoil values. They've added more animations for the bartender and patrons at the bar. They got all of that sort of like animation from a recent mocap shoot. They are trying to set their gold standard for NPCs and facial performance of them as well. So the idea here is to have believable living bartenders and patrons moving around with schedules and work that they're going to be doing throughout the day. They're going to be getting on with their daily lives. And with that in mind, they're currently polishing their everyday behaviors, including cleaning glasses, carrying drinks to tables, and telling the player they're busy when in the middle of another action. Player actions were also added to the bar stool, so players can now drink from sitting or standing positions while at a bar. They've cleaned up the locomotion sets for players as well, so they're going to be showing off some of this stuff at CitizenCon, and they've been running tests to make sure that motion capture that they're going to be doing live as well runs smoothly at the event. Design, so they've added new behaviors to give NPCs and mission givers an extra layer of ability and are currently retroactively applying them to Miles, Eckhart and Ruto. They're now working towards getting Recco Battaglia and Clover Star Neely, the two new major mission givers, fleshed out. We actually saw Battaglia recently with a prosthetic leg in ATV. Tuning for the economy continues with new mineable resources and updated inventories at the new outpost and truck stop locations. The gameplay team have been working on asteroid mining along with implementing render to texture stuff. So this is going to be support for in-game shop item previews. They've also worked on the new transit systems which provide easier setup for elevators and support trains that travel to and around planetary locations on a schedule. There is ongoing work to dynamic elements such as ropes and soft body simulation. They've also improved the group system to support multiple chat groups, a feature that paves the way for Spectrum integration along with voice over IP and face over IP. They also continued their efforts on scanning and ping gameplay, as well as adding support for that scan ping detection of mineable rocks inside asteroid fields and other detectable entities such as derelict ships. Quantum travel was also improved to include route planning in the star map. This will allow players to simply select their final destination and have the quantum travel route plotted for them. They've also improved the comms chat app while in Mobiglass and in the visor when Mobiglass has been put away. This includes the ability to create multiple groups and invite players to join them. You will be able to chat with fellow players no matter how far away everyone is from each other. Voice over IP is actively being developed to allow you to communicate with any group members using your own voice. Face over IP is also in the works, allowing you to see the real-time expressions of those around you, adding nuance and emotion to your conversations. environment. While expanding the Stanton system from 1 to 2 planets, the question of where to place the rest stops to best support refueling came up. It was decided they would be placed at Lagrange points, naturally occurring pockets of space where 2 gravitational fields overlap and balance each other out. They're the ideal place for rest stops, as they allow spacecraft to remain static without the need for additional force. A couple of new missions have been created that take place in Security Post Korea. Crusader Security wants the abandoned station cleared of outlaws, and occasionally criminals will want the leaders of competing factions assassinated. Korea itself has had some big improvements to its layout, with the opening up of new routes and more cover to make firefights in the station more enjoyable. They got all the scramble race logic now down, and they've also been spending time improving the foundations of driving on planets, including headlight brightness, vehicle durability, handling, and obstacle collision. Several new asteroid clusters were added around Grimhex, in which the races and other missions can occur. They are currently adding trains and trams, setting up schedules, configuring hangars and garages, and adjusting level markups. They're also working on signage and general player guiding through the playable areas of the city to make sure various points of interest are easy to find and that visitors don't get too lost. Progress on the transit system is substantial, and they have the first version of the system in place, allowing the team to efficiently set up elevators, as well as being able to add in trains and trams that are on the schedule wherever they want. All of this will help bring the cities to life, even though you might have to run a bit to catch the train or accept waiting for the next one. They've started looking ahead to the upcoming areas of Stanton, ArcCorp, Microtech, and Crusader. However, there's a large amount of planning and pre-work that needs to be done before the teams can move on to them full-time. Work continued on the utilitarian props for Lorville's landing zone, including infrastructure, furniture used to dress the main routes through the city, and smaller scale dressing items for shops and bars. A polish pass on some older dressing assets were completed, with visual modelling improvements made to the meshes. The team also delivered a set of animated signage, cameras, and interactive dressing props to add life and movement to the city. The organics team performed the final polish on the surface of Hurston and its biomes, which will be the first time players are able to explore lush vegetation-covered biomes. They are now supporting Lorville and its surrounding areas, including placement and creation of its outer gates and transit systems. The engine guys, so several improvements and bug fixes were made to water volumes, so they can be used in ships and on planets as designed. They continued progress on improving planetary terrain soft shadow. A lot of optimization and tweaks went into getting natural looks at minimal runtime cost, though additional work is still needed on blending shadow cascades. They continued work on the physical queue to move physics from dedicated threads to a job model, and made progress on new soft body simulation and cloth rendering, adding support for explosions and bullet impacts. The graphics team have also been working to make light and particle support multi-threaded so that they'll work seamlessly with object container streaming. When that's live, players will be able to enjoy seamless transitions around the whole of the persistent universe, as well as having less stalling. The glass shader has also been updated so interior ship canopies no longer show the distracting reflections from the exterior. This has been updated for other assets as well. Ships and vehicle stuff, so they completed their release prep passes on all of the vehicles going into the 3.3 update. So this is the Aegis Hammerhead, the RSA Constellation Phoenix, the Cyclone variants, and the rework of the Mustang. Now they are moving forward on the Anvil Hawk, which is white box complete on the design side and is now going into the final art stage. They paused for a couple of weeks on the 300 series update to take care of the issues they were having with the F8 Lightning for Squadron 42, some pilot fitting stuff. They're now back in full swing on the 300's grey box phase. They've been improving the manned turret experience by adding an interface to turn on and off gyro stabilization, finalizing the one-to-one input to rotation techniques for mouse and joystick, including properly adjusting input options for both, adding headlock smoothing for a less jarring view from within turrets. They've also been programming automated turrets to now use the criminality system to determine whether or not to fire upon you, so some areas are defended by these turrets. Scanning vehicles was also extended to include stats such as vehicle status, owner, pilot, and onboard cargo. Discovering entities on planets, asteroids, and deep space has now been improved by allowing for much greater ping results, more informative blob aesthetics, and separate blob generation based on whether entities are on a planet's surface or deep in space. Finally, the technique in which mineable rocks are spawned on asteroids and planetary bodies has been made more efficient. Audio have been prototyping new systems to allow the audio experience to scale as the project expands, with the intention to maintain the established quality bar and ensure a constantly immersive experience. Backend services have been looking into adding an S3 service, which is used to store and retrieve larger static datasets from various parts of the game. They also finished up with a NoSQL database API, which gives more fluid data sets, and finished the new entitlement processor to greatly optimize the processing of platform purchased items. The Issue Council version 1.1.0 was deployed to the PTU at the start of the month before reaching live a few weeks later. This version features a new profile section where users can see their own reports, contributions, specs, and bookmarks. And as always, lots of tools were created to aid in the efficiency of various pipelines from various departments, in some cases making weeks worth of work into days or allowing for more cool. And there was a load of work that went on by the QA team and all the departments getting 3.3 ready, getting object container streaming working. Object container streaming and 3.3 is such a massive technical milestone for them, so congratulations for hitting it. Well, assumedly hitting it. We'll see on the 10th of October at CitizenCon whether that PTU is a success. So 3.3 is going out to the PTU for everyone on the 10th of October now with object container streaming. And that's it for the monthly report this time. Until the 10th of October, you can win a Saber Raven just by being a subscriber on my channel and commenting on any of my videos. This is one of 2 giveaways that will be happening on my channel this month, provided by My Radar, a mobile app for iOS and Android that provides up-to-the-minute weather information in the US, Europe, and Japan, with service in Australia coming in by the end of 2018. It allows Star Citizen players to view detailed maps of the moons in-game as well, Yela, Selin, and Daymar. A new version will be released this month that includes new features, including outpost markers and updated maps. Today's video is brought to you by F-Secure Total, premium cybersecurity for you and your devices. It includes Safe, an award-winning internet security suite, protecting you from ransomware, viruses, and while browsing the web. Freedom VPN, giving you net privacy, a way to access otherwise inaccessible content, while being secure and anonymous even on public Wi-Fi. Key, a password manager, allowing you to store your passwords securely and access them from any device. Total protects you and your device. You can try F-Secure Total, Internet Security and Privacy Suite free for 30 days. You can also use the code BoredGamer to get 20% off a subscription. Check out the links below for more information.